The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Sports Collective Media and Morris Media Studios.
Hold on.
The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Media and Morris Media Studios present Sports Collective TV. On today's lineup, the NBA is back for the second part of the season here. We're going to go ahead and talk about the hottest teams in the East and the West and the playoff race. And of course, you know what happened here with Zion Williamson twisting that ankle/knee. You look at those Paul George's shoes that just ripped open. What an injury, and we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about that reaction there. And as well, Antonio Brown requests a trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And where is he going? Of course, we're going to go ahead and ask Ferran about that one. And Robert Kraft is in the news with a very controversial... I don't know what to call it.
Give your hands. We'll go
ahead and talk about that. And baseball is back. Spring training was underway this weekend with Boston underway and the Dodgers defeating the Angels yesterday there. And as well, Manny Machado, the $300 million man, signed a 10-year deal with the San Diego Padres. And we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about that. But this show is sponsored by AskIlya.com. The website, go ahead and visit the website to get more information on how to build your brand and digital marketing needs. But hey, Sports Collective TV starts right about now.
I'm Millie.
Props, Fredo.
Man.
For that intro. We gotta say.
Robot.
That was pretty nice.
Oh man!
You got skills.
Welcome to Sports Collective TV. We have an awesome show today.
He'd be a rapper.
Hey, how do you know I'm not?
You're not a rapper or not black?
Not black. How do you know, man?
Besides his hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brown. You on a brown. Light-skinned brother.
Yeah,
Light-skinned brother.
So let them know what's up, Fredo.
But yeah, man. So, we're back here. The last show of this month here for us. But we got a lot of interesting going stuff with football. Antonio Brown. We also got, Zion Williamson. What happened with that situation? That Paul George shoe. If I was any other person, I'll start putting those shoes back in the trash can there because I don't think they're any good. And I know Nike hasn't came out with anything yet about that, but I'm pretty sure they will.
Why?
And what happened to that? You're talking about power. That's a lot of power. That's 275 pounds.
So y'all want to get to the heart of that?
Get to the heart of that.
Let's go.
For years, man, they've been poorly manufacturing these shoes, and that guy's a beast. And I think that was a test of the time. It's like a lot of these shoes are not really constructed really well. You know what I'm saying? And you got to remember they coming from overseas. And I remember kids that would actually go on these different various websites to go buy shoes because they couldn't go afford them out of the mall. Yeah. And they get these shoes and they could, Ike is Nike and, and I've seen shoes explode on the floor.
All right. We're going to keep it pushing. We'll be back to that.
We'll take that Zion take there. But, we got a very interesting events coming up in about 2 weeks. Let me go ahead and raise this up here. We got the old school spring jam. Man, it's going to be very hot. It's going to be taking place March the 8th. Put it up a little more. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Block my face with that. Not this way. Oh, there it is.
Block my face.
Old school spring jam concert, man. It's going to be a very amazing event here, brought to you by Global West Entertainment Management, AskIlya.com, the Veteran Support Group, as well as the Mixologist LA and the Hollywood Production Group. It's going to be a hot event. Friday, March the 8th at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. And, of course, tickets are still available, and they're very hot. So make sure you go ahead and visit Eventbrite.com and search Old School Spring Jam. Go ahead and get your tickets because they're going hot, right, Elia?
They're going hot. VIP day party supposed to be off the hook too. So
day party too?
It's interesting because it is a Friday. Friday in LA is a tough one, but it's going to be some great artists out there, and they're just really just trying to bring a good time to the community. A lot of these artists, they just they don't get to see us, the inner city of the community. So it'll be a good opportunity for that to happen.
Boom.
Absolutely. And where else do you get all these artists together? Coolio, Tone Loc, Michelle A.
Hello.
Everybody from back in the day. So
and I just, I won't say it. I said it before, but
yeah, don't say it.
Somebody might, you never know. This LA, so you never know who can show up.
Guess who's in the house?
Those guys are legends, so never know who can show up.
Yeah. So that's why you got to be there.
Oh, and one smart shout out. Shout out for my boy Screw the Rules. He's going to be the comedian on deck. Guy Black, Romeo from K-Day, Guy Black from KJLH. So they're all going to be out, man, representing the community and the station. So if you hear the tickets on the air and hear the win tickets, just reach on out. And
dial in.
Remember, you heard it first here at Morris Media Live Studios.
That's right.
And bringing the old school. And she is part of that old school.
She is.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, she is.
Shout out to Big P out there.
Camera.
You know what I'm saying? Little stuff.
Gotta get the
Can we take a break?
I think she go beyond the logo. She's the network, so you go beyond the logo. So she's good.
March 8th. Make sure you go check that out. Eventbrite.com too for the tickets, and ask Ilya for all information.
There it is. Blow up. Ask Ilya's phone. Blow his phone up.
Ask him. He's out
Call
there.
me for some VIP tickets. Call me for, it's like the Fry Festival. Call me for anything. You know what I'm saying? We'll figure it out.
Just don't call him late for dinner.
Yeah.
There it is. But yeah, go ahead and check that event out, eventbrite.com, to go ahead and get more tickets there. Just don't take forever because they might go away. So you better be on the rush. But hey, when we come back here, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about some basketball, the Zion injury. I know we teased it a little bit as well. Steve Ballmer, he's aggressively trying to get an arena for his own Clippers. We'll talk a little bit about that. And the playoff race, it's very hot right now. There's about 23 games left in the NBA season. And I know we have a lot to talk about that. But hey, don't forget, call us 323-293-3375, MorrisMediaLive.com. We'll be right back.
Friday, March 8th, the event of the spring. Old School Spring Jam Concert. Live from Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. Performances by Ready for the World.
Let me love you down. Let me take some time. Let me love you down.
Tone Loc.
Tone Loc, MC of the future. Say about the line, give it G, the teacher, the author, the writer, and the editor.
Coolio. Michelle A. And Candyman.
Attention all ladies. The Candyman is on the prowl. And for those that want to get busy, you got to speak up now.
For tickets and information, visit us at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out. Old School Spring Jam Concert, March 8th.
And we're back here on Sports Collective TV. We got the new guy here on the deck, X and O's. Talk to us.
You already know. We have a lot to talk about. What are we going to get into right now, Big Al?
So Big Al?
Oh, man. First of all, in the basketball storylines, I think the Zion Williams story has to be the most prominent one at the moment. Yeah. And I think we all watched the game against University of Northern Carolina.
Well, also a lot of the topics that was really hitting a lot of social media was the value of this kid. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were talking about, having that lane where you could have high school players go directly to the league. Because obviously, you've seen Zion Williamson play this year. Yeah. He's a man among boys in college basketball right now.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's like there's certain youth that, like you said, it's already a huge advantage by having them go to college. Yes, you want to get the experience, but once again, a lot of people said, you know what, these youth should be just going directly to the league.
How does that all come down because of his shoe?
Well,
I mean, we all saw it, right? So he backs in, he tries to do like a little spin move, and his shoe pops out of, or his foot pops out of his shoe.
This guy weighs 30 pounds more than LeBron James, and he's only, 19, 18, and this guy's just a monster. But I don't know. I mean, apparently they were saying that he's had those shoes for about 4 months already. So for basketball players, they say they usually change shoes about a week. Every week they get new shoes.
But also, like in the NBA, the pros actually get specific shoes that are usually made with a lot more support. Right. And so once again, this is where Nike has to go in and say, you know what, maybe we should start providing some of these to these college players as well. I don't know if they're already doing it, but maybe they should, because that was bad publicity for Nike.
Yeah, on the biggest stage, because it was North Carolina and Duke.
Remember people were getting
first play too. You know,
it was like right out the gate.
Yeah, that sucks. That very.
And remember people were getting on Lonzo Ball because that happened to him during a Laker game, I believe.
Yeah, his big baller shoe. Something happened to it, but it wasn't as bad as this Nike shoe. So, I mean, at the same time, I don't know if it lands on Paul George as well, because as being his shoe, he's a designer. He kind of designs it in the way he wants it to be. So he has a lot to say into this. So it can be that Nike can kind of throw it on, hey, well, this is the way he wanted his shoe. Because, I mean, he was testing it out.
How are y'all connecting those dots?
No, I mean, not necessarily Paul George.
Connecting it back to what you're saying. Okay, so they're saying if this kid was already in the league, he would have gotten paid. He would have this rookie contract, right? If he gets injured right there in that play, tears an ACL or something, his stock value drops tremendously.
Of course, I understand that.
So that's what they're saying. Some of these players that you already know are going to be going, like, this is 1 year. It's just for him to go through the experience, go through the whole NCAA experience. But we all know he's going to be a top 3 pick, if not the top pick overall. So it's like they're saying, well, some of these youths should get that, eligibility to go directly to the pros, right, and not risk getting injured. Because at the end of the day, you have these kids that work their whole life, right, to get to the pros. And if it comes down to one injury, once again, you're talking about multi-million dollars. And this is not a what if. We know for a fact that.
Well, what you're saying, what if this happens to a lesser-known player who doesn't get the media attention that Zion gets, who isn't a guaranteed top 3 pick already? Something like that. That can derail your career.
But they should be able to choose, like, whether. And he even came out and said he would choose still to go to college, but you should have that option where you have players like, okay, whether I want to go directly into the league, take my chances, right? And maybe lose a whole year of eligibility playing basketball.
But none of this stuff came up until the shoe burst, right?
Well, it's been in the air for the past couple of years, because in every sport in college you don't get paid, and all these professional, even football players, you see what happened to Reggie Bush and USC, and situations that happen like this. These kids want to get paid, so now if they get the option to go straight from high school to the pros, it's much better for them because they make money quicker.
And we were talking earlier about the NBA also lowering its age down to 18. Yeah. So they're trying to play into that as well. And the NBA would love for players to be able to skip that.
It also happened to be during this game where tickets were going as high as, I believe, $2,500. Just to be there.
To see this kid. Even Barack Obama was there.
To see a college basketball game.
Because the Duke Stadium is pretty small considering how successful of a basketball organization they are. So there's like limited seats, and this is the best college game all season.
This is the most hyped game.
And then once again, they could sell
organization they are.
So there's like these tickets, and we all know that none of that is going back to athletes except for food and tuition. And I'm
just trying to understand how that shoe is creating all these other topics based off of
it's injury. It's not more the shoe.
I mean, it's just because it happened to Zion. If it would have happened to any other kid, it wouldn't be that much of a big deal.
Or two and it'd be off.
But even before, because it was like 2 weeks ago when they started talking about it, like he should kind of stay. He should just stop playing for this year.
Yeah, because he's jumping through the building. He could get himself hurt outside of the shoes.
But what just happened? He got hurt wearing those shoes and the way that shoe happened. Like if it was just a twist or an ankle, that would have been a different situation. But you're talking about a Nike shoe and Paul George's new shoe. So it's very bad, but that happened already.
Who said Nike was the best shoe anyway?
We don't know, but Al wanted to talk about the situation with Steve Ballmer. So talk to us a little bit about Steve Ballmer, about his needs trying to buy a new stadium here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a thing happening last week. He, on top of looking for a new arena very aggressively, he also joined in as a guest on TNT with Shaq and Kenny and Charles and everybody, which as an owner is a little bit of a PR risk to just go out there and state your case and be open to the media for critical questions. But he made a very eccentric, loud pitch to free agents saying, "This is the best city in the world for basketball. I have an owner that will be pledged behind his players and do whatever he can to win a championship here." And we were talking about this earlier, whether or not this is really a good move for an owner to put himself out there like that, considering what happened with the whole Blake Griffin situation. But if you were Steve Ballmer going out like that, would you put yourself out there as an owner? Because
I mean, in that situation, I would. I mean, you just have to. Any media coverage that you can get, especially on the stage like that, like on the TNT stage, where you have millions of eyeballs watching. You want to do that, and he's one of the owners that's not scared to be talkative out there in the media. So, I mean, up for him, and I mean, he's kind of just helping out the Lakers for a pitch. I guess telling them how beautiful Los Angeles is. So, thanks, Steve Ballmer. But
wow. But really, he has to. Once again, everything that he talks about LA, Lakers could pitch as well, right? And so it's like, how do you separate yourselves from the Lakers? And to look at it, he has to come out and pitch himself, because as soon as the Lakers come to the table, you're the Clippers and the Lakers. Right? It's like, for instance, if you're a car salesman and you're trying to sell this Kia before the Mercedes, you're going to try to get to the customer before that Mercedes pulls up. Because as soon as it pulls up, they're going to go for the Mercedes, unfortunately, right? Mm-hmm. And it just happens to be that's the sponsors here, Kia and Mercedes, right? But that's basically it. Regardless of what it is, Lakers are the bigger brand, right? And you have to sell that. One thing he did point out was his staff, which I feel they do have an advantage over. Right, you have Doc Rivers, right? I forgot who's there.
Jerry West as general manager.
No, he's a consultant.
Oh, he's a consultant.
I know the general manager. God damn it, I just remembered.
But that's where one thing he can say. We do their front office, right? Obviously, with Jerry West has shown a lot of success.
Absolutely, built the Warriors pretty much, or was a part of that building process.
Right, and then the way the Lakers have handled the whole Anthony Davis. Once again, it doesn't look good on their front office the way the situation was handled. So that's the one advantage they do have. So he continued to say that, we have an all-star caliber front office, right, which is the thing you're probably going to pitch the most. Because aside from that, I don't know why you...
So come for the Clippers is what he said.
I mean, I feel like he also felt the need to do that because the whole Blake Griffin incident was so embarrassing or such bad PR.
Was it really embarrassing though?
No, that was very bad. Like, if you really
can't
look
put
at
somebody's
situation,
jersey up in the rafters who's not supposed to be there yet and then trade him.
But it's crazy because even when Clipper Darrell was here, he brought up the situation. I'm not sure if I know we talked about it because he was like, when he signed that 5-year contract, they told him, we'll give you 5 with no trade clause.
Just take that off. Take that no trade clause off.
Take 4 years. And you have a trade clause,
right?
And he took the 5 with the intention of possibly
jerseys
never
in the rafters
being considered as a trade piece,
right?
And
3
months later, you're out and shipped out to Detroit.
Business. Y'all been talking all business for the Lakers,
yeah,
so that's all business.
But once again,
but how rude that was! You tell me,
I'm just saying, but you're pitching to free agents here to come to you, so you want a certain.
That's already done.
You're selling a certain image.
He's already in Detroit.
I mean, I know you have because you're a Detroit fan.
He get Pistons fans. It doesn't matter.
But his word, though, his word.
It's business.
But I think that's what I'm saying. But your word, you literally.
Y'all, it's cool for the Lakers to do it, but the Clippers.
But Clippers didn't do it in that situation. In that way, it's like if we just draft
traded.
I mean, it is what it is.
Business.
But it's business. Just like Ferran said, that's business. And we want to talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs. We're about almost a little over 20 games left in the season. We got some very great teams in the East, which is where I want to start off. Overlooking at a couple games right now, I kind of already have my pick for the East. I don't think there's nobody stopping the Toronto Raptors. Nobody.
Okay.
I mean,
really?
I think Milwaukee is a little too iffy, and once they get to the stage, they possibly won't be able to do it. Toronto's been there fighting through LeBron over the past couple of years, trying to get by with DeRozan and Lowry.
Do you know that Milwaukee is actually going for one of the best point differentials?
Yeah, they are, but once they get to that stage, and a team that has not been there and done that, like the Toronto Raptors, who've been fighting for years, trying to get that break, finally to get over LeBron, because LeBron's been taking them out every year. And now that LeBron's out of there, they're kind of the team now, especially with the addition of Marc Gasol. That gives them a big piece of Ibaka.
So you got Toronto?
I got Toronto.
You got Milwaukee?
Hold on, I gotta say something about that because I actually don't feel they did that much of an upgrade because when you look at Marc Gasol, he's not that much quicker than Valanciunas. He is a better defensive player, but they didn't really add more. Like they don't even play Marc Gasol.
But they were still good already at the start. So right now it's like they upgraded a little bit at a much better overall, because this is an all-star. Valanciunas was never in that all-star level.
But they didn't upgrade their death squad. I always look at, the squad that everyone wants to put out there. Marc Gasol isn't part of that squad. He's not fast enough, and
he's not. But he's still very.
They still close it out with Bill Siakam and Ibaka. And I feel actually the other teams that made trades like Milwaukee getting Mirotic, right?
Even Philly.
I think you guys are sleeping on somebody. Philadelphia is very strong now after that free agency.
And Boston. I feel like those four teams are the only teams really contending.
It's going to be really good.
Boston.
Philly's looking mighty stacked right now there.
I mean, especially with Kawhi Leonard, and I mean, I don't know. I'm going with Toronto.
I hear Boston there in the crowd, but I don't know how confident we are.
Top 4 or 5 teams.
Who you got? Who's coming out of the East?
Just too many of y'all talking to each other. What you got?
No, I was gonna say I feel like the top 4 teams. Like I'm sorry, like Indiana's there right now, but as the season progresses, I feel like they're gonna slide to the 5th seed. But those top 4, I feel any one of those could take it. It really comes down to who's playing at their best.
But who do you believe has the least chance out of all 4?
The least chance of all 4?
Of making it. Who's
Toronto.
Milwaukee.
Wow.
Toronto.
Wow.
The least.
Milwaukee, just because of the inexperience. But they could also pose the biggest threat for an upset as well, because they can.
I know, but season. It's a regular season.
Playoffs is different. We'll see what happens.
That's why, and to see the Greek Freak, to see what he's capable of doing now, being in that type of player he is this year, it'll be very crazy. But you made your pick. You made your pick. You made the pick. You made your pick.
We got
in the East.
I'm a Piston fan, but I'm with Cali Sportsman with Boston.
Oh. Boston, Boston's a good one because I know you can't count Kyrie out.
Boston, yo.
Take it out, Big Al.
Philadelphia. Stay tuned here on Sports Collective TV as we still have much to talk about. Some MLB, some NFL, and some Champions League. Make sure you stay tuned. Call us at 323-293-3375, and we'll be right back.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African-American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
Friday, March 8th, the event of the spring. Old School Spring Jam Concert. Live from Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. Performances by Ready for the World.
Let me love you down. And if it takes all night, let me love you down.
Tone Low.
MC of the future, say about the line, give it to the teacher, the author, the writer, and the editor.
Coolio. Michelle A. And Candyman.
Attention, all ladies. The Candyman is on the prowl. And for those that want to get busy, you got to speak up now.
For tickets and information, visit us at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out. Old School Spring Jam Concert, March 8th.
Welcome back to Sports Collective TV. You got the full deck here. Luop joining us here, as well as Double O, my man Fredo Cervantes, and Big Al. But if you didn't catch that commercial, the Old School Spring Jam, that's happening Friday, March 8th. Make sure you get your tickets on eventbrite.com. We've got Double O holding that up here. AskElia.com for all information. We got Tone Loc, Michelle A., Coolio, man, everybody from back in the day. So make sure you go check that out. But we're going to keep it moving. We got some interesting stuff to talk about. First of all, some NFL news. And I'm very proudly wearing my Rams hat today. As
brought that back out, huh?
Rams Patriots discussion has brought some new light, some new topics. So the owner of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, he was caught in a scandal down in Florida. Now, you want to enlighten people what the charges were?
I mean, a lot of the charges haven't really been out there, any specifics on the charges, but I know his name is involved with 20 other people with some brothel possibly out there in South Florida. I'm not sure what was his involved in the situation, but he is in some sort of trouble because as of today, he's been charged with multiple counts. So I'm not sure where the timeline is right now in his situation.
That's right. I think that was 2 counts of soliciting prostitutes.
Yeah, they've already released
Jupiter,
the whole.
Florida.
Yeah,
they released more information.
Yeah, they released the whole like transcript of the. They released the whole report.
Oh wow!
So in the report, it talks about like he's in there for about 15 minutes. They see him go in. They see him exchange cash. Wow. They know how much he gave the girl at the end. You know, it's pretty specific. It goes into pretty specific detail as to what happened. You know, they know what position he was lying in. Obviously, kind of not hard to imagine that. Everything that happened. So they got him pretty good. A couple of times.
Red-handed. They
couple
caught
times.
him.
Yeah.
So this is a billionaire.
Come up.
Just an awareness out there about what's really going on because it's literally humans getting taken advantage of over and over and over and over again. You know, and that's I think. Talk about that, guys. I mean, talk about like the human being that has to sit there and go through this. They don't even speak English. Yeah. You know, they've been promised a job that they may not going to get.
It's part of the sex trafficking.
And it's just that's the whole charges part. Yeah. It's not so much he's just a perv or he's
no. That's a serious part of that. This is why it's so crazy because he's a $1 billion sports team owner who goes into a massage parlor and I don't know. We heard some numbers. I don't know how accurate this is, but $75 hand job at some massage parlor.
It goes back to what Ilya says. At that point, the guy isn't there because you know he can't afford to go anywhere else. The guy's a billionaire, you know, and it's a rinky strip mall massage parlor. So it's not somewhere hidden off where it's disguised as something that it isn't, you know? It's pretty blatant what it is, and when you get to be that powerful and that rich, it's not the money at that point. It's the power. It's these women are helpless. They get brought over with promises of all these lucrative jobs in America and this and that, and then they get held hostage in these places, and people walk in and walk out, like it's just a regular business transaction, and it's shocking. It brings to light the issue, of what these women are going through because of the fact that Robert Kraft is this prominent figure. He did just win a Super Bowl ring. We did all just see him up there with Meek Mill's chain and, doing all these things for the community and whatnot. And then this happens, and he can't deny it. He can't. It's in the police report. There's going to be footage, So at this point, it's like, dude, this guy is not, like he said, is not just a pervert who was watching something on the, this guy acted on these things, and then he knew where he was going. Yeah. He could have gone to a strip club,
right,
and somewhere, Atlanta or something, and paid some of these women who know what they're doing and were willingly doing it for a gang of money, pay them. But to go and just to these
No, he's part of that culture.
It's a deeper thing than money. It's not about the money. It's not the money. It's the mentality of, and it's a shame really that someone, or not a shame really. I guess it's kind of like it brings to light, like it can happen to anybody. Even no matter how rich you are. It's like, dude, you can. Trump was on Stormy Daniels paying $150,000. This guy Kraft's richer than Trump, and he's going to places where he's paying $100. Yeah. It's not about the money. It's not that he's being cheap. Well, it's the power, I think.
Right. Well, that's why it's a little bit fishy, and we got into this, had a discussion about this as well. What is a multi-billionaire doing at a inexpensive plate like this when he really should not have no problem in getting laid, quote unquote? Is it part of the sex trade and the ring or anything, or is it just a coincidence? That's a question that's being floated out there as well in the midst of all this.
It's just wrong to do in the beginning to start off. So I guess we could leave it at that point. I mean, it's just technically. I mean, we hope nothing happens. I don't want to say we hope, but I mean, we know something's going to happen to him. Let's say something happens with his ownership.
Misdemeanor
charges. But would something be involved with the NFL? Might try to strip, or I mean, you never know.
Well, that's what comes next. Is how is the NFL going to react to this?
Especially all the owners are possibly not going to be okay with it. They could take one of the guy who he's not loved by most of the owners.
I'm sure owners would love to have him out of there.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I know we have a interesting topic that as well happened last week. And that happens to be with Fran's Steelers, with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is now possibly, I believe, the second player in the last couple months who has requested a trade out of Pittsburgh.
What's going on?
So we know trouble is going on in Pittsburgh, and I mean, I think there's only one person to blame for this, and which is Big Ben. I mean, I think Big Ben is a guy who's been kind of trying. People say that he's been kind of taking that leadership. He should have. But he can still play. He put up great numbers this past year. Not good enough to take him to the playoffs, but good enough. But, I mean, what do you guys think is the problem in Pittsburgh with that situation? There are two players requesting a trade. And not just any players, two great players.
I mean, it's a tough one. Pittsburgh started the season pretty decently and had some pretty good playoff hopes as well. Then towards the end of the season, that just kept getting derailed. It seemed like the team chemistry was not working anymore. And it seems, for the most part, that a lot of the players have abandoned the locker room to some degree. And I think you can see that happening. And, of course, the quarterback is at fault for that to some degree. So I think saying Ben Roethlisberger has a lot to do with this is not wrong. I'm sure there's some other factors, but that's definitely
the coach too.
A good point in that. Yeah, I'm sure Mike Tomlin has his share of that, and also Le'Veon Bell wanting to leave. That it seems like they have some stuff going on in the locker room there that just maybe isn't repairable. I don't know.
I think it's you look at the Steelers, the franchise, and like the kind of team that they are. They're built on defense. They have a quarterback who might be prominent, but they usually have like just grind it out. They're running the football. Jerome Bettis was an amazing running back, but he wasn't the best running back in the league. No one was going to pay him more, so you take a pay cut and go with the Steelers. And Terry Bradshaw, we knew he was getting paid big money, but he had Franco Harris. Exactly. So he had also his players too, but who would take pay cuts. Then Ben Roethlisberger comes along, and he's the guy who wins him a Super Bowl, very early in his career. He had Hines Ward, but then again, Hines Ward wasn't really the top receiver in the NFL. Right. Now Ben Roethlisberger gets older, and he has these young guys who are the best
receivers, top running back,
top skill players in the NFL. And the franchise is always going to pay their quarterback, and it's always going to pay to have a really good defense. So when the money starts running out, and it's like when you start deciding where the money goes, it's like, wait a minute, I'm more valuable than he is. Forget all this, like, let's do it for the team. Why doesn't he have to do it for the team? And when it becomes of like, this is how we do it, this is how you're going to do it, or you're going to ship out, a lot of players do kind of just like bend. The Patriots players know when you go to the Patriots, it's going to be the Patriots way or you're out. Right. These guys were drafted there, though, so they haven't really had a choice, and they're like, nah, we're out. We want out. We want to be paid.
They can get money somewhere else.
They will definitely get the money somewhere else. So the Steelers are in a situation where they haven't been able to deal with it, had something like this before, where they have skill players who the entire league is willing to pay.
And also, what like you said, they've always been this kind of team where it invests on defense, right, and
running game and a quarterback.
Right, and what doesn't help also these two players are asking out is that the people right behind them are showing promise. Like Connor, right, and Juju Smith-Schuster right? So if they do let him go, that's just going to create more opportunity for these players to develop. So once they, and like you said, you're going to take up a huge cap, right? And it's only going to be on one side, and they've never been about that. Mm-hmm. So like you said, they're going to let him walk.
Yeah, of course. That's
since
Yeah, he was one of your great defenders out there, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, I guess, drama in Pittsburgh, so it's good because I know all of our teams will be happy to take any of those, any of those guys.
I don't foresee my team being in the hunt for any.
It's a nice free agent market.
Yeah, it is. So a tradable one too. So we'll go ahead and look into that. But hey, when we come back, we're gonna go ahead and touch a little bit on spring training. Baseball is finally back into play here, so we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about that when we come back here on Sports Collective.
It's not even
TV.
spring yet.
It's not yet, huh?
It's winter. Like, how are they already in spring training?
Oh, okay. So, let's just say let's cover this.
Go
real quick.
Straight into baseball.
Spring training's back. After the Red Sox defeated our Los Angeles Dodgers.
Your Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes,
my Los Angeles Dodgers.
Not yours. But I know it's been a while since that happened back in November 1st. Now we're here in February 25th, and we're looking into spring training. A couple teams made a couple moves, as we all saw. Manny Machado signed a 10-year, $300 million contract.
Get your
now
paper,
being
boy.
the highest player
Get your paper,
in the North
boy.
American region, which is it's just
boy.
incredible
Gotta
for
get
him.
my
So shout out to Manny Machado as well for the half of the year you gave us here in Los Angeles, which I'm kind of happy that you moved on. That's a lot of money.
Okay.
And he's still in California.
Yeah, he's
still in California.
Cali. But if anything shows, if Padres history shows anything, he's going to play there for 4 years. Right?
And get traded because he did. He has an opt out in 2021 or 2022, I think.
Yeah. And what happened to their last big signing that came from the Dodgers, Matt Kemp?
Oh,
right? He ended up coming back home, having a comeback season.
He had to go to Atlanta first, and he came down.
But he eventually came back home.
You guys really think he's going to opt out?
Nah, well, I mean,
this guy,
unless he puts up crazy numbers.
Come on, this is a guy who's gonna he's gonna see this. This is what it is. He's gonna get a $300 million contract for 10 years. We all know those are crazy.
Yeah,
we all know that's why Bryce Harper hasn't gonna sign. Manny Machado is gonna just ride this thing out. He's not the guy who gets motivated by how many championships he wanted. One thing in his career and one thing only, and he finally got it. Yeah, money. He's gonna be living in San Diego, playing half his games there. TJ's across the border. This is the guy who doesn't hustle for a single. All right, you think he's really gonna be caring about winning championships, or is he like now he's set?
He's going to ride out his contract.
This is generational change in money, not just your family. No, this changes generations to come.
So you're saying he's only getting worse as a player too?
That's a lot, huh?
You're saying he's only getting worse as a player?
No. I mean, he still cares enough. He still cares enough, but he's not going to be the kind who's going to opt out of a guaranteed deal and take a chance on himself.
Right.
You get me? This guy's. I see a Bryce Harper maybe doing something like that, or if he were like a Mike Trout, but Manny Machado, come on. You saw him in the
and that's the reason why. And I mean, at the same time, we had our Corey Seager coming back, so there was no need for him. We knew he was a rental from the very beginning, but I mean, I still wasn't pleased with his production over the half year, because he could have taken us to a different level if he were to be that type of player, but he didn't play up to it. So I mean, congratulations, Manny. You got paid.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I ain't mad at that. Never get mad at that.
One thing too, real on Manny, I'm just upset because he really did say that he didn't want to. Even though he could have taken some sort of short term in the West Coast, he said, "I don't care about the money. I just don't want to be in the West Coast." And what happened at the end? You stood in the West Coast because you wanted the money.
Come on, it's always about the money.
Yeah,
so always about the money.
As soon as someone said, "I'll give you that offer," he's like, "Don't matter
I'll
where."
take it. Because he could have taken Chicago. He could have taken Philly, or even who was on the table as well. For I know there was other teams on it, but I know Chicago and Philly were the two.
Yeah, but he wanted that 10-year. He wanted that $300 million.
Nobody wanted to give it to him. But
no, that's ridiculous.
So that leads us into the next player as well, who's in
still
a familiar situation.
Yeah. So go ahead, Oscar.
Bryce Harper's still out there, man.
Yeah, So, I mean, spring training started, like we said. Everyone's already in their teams. They already got everything situated to get ready for the season. And one of the hottest players, I mean, you can say top two players. I mean, Trout and Harper, you can kind of say.
Supposedly.
I mean, you can say that. But he's still a free agent right now. He's probably, he's working out in the gym, but he's still a free agent waiting to get paid possibly more than $300 million. That's the reason why he wanted to hold out. But, there's been some hot reports. Last night, the Dodgers ownership and manager Dave Roberts flew over to Vegas to meet with Bryce Harper. Even Dave Roberts talked this morning about how that meeting went. He just said they talked. He didn't want to say much about it, but there is something popping now with the Dodgers back in the mix after last night. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like he's still possibly looking at a short term because the Dodgers say they don't want to go over 6 years, which is very tough because Bryce Harper wants 10 years. But it's going to be very exciting just to see what happens with that move.
He's not coming to the Dodgers.
I don't know.
Who else is
He's because there's nobody else in the talks besides
the Phillies,
and the Dodgers, and that's
it's why Scott Boras though.
But it's like you take 6 years with the Dodgers, be in LA, be already in the conversation to possibly win a championship.
Okay, look, if he's willing to take shorter contracts, and there's going to be other teams who are going to want to jump in that.
From the very beginning, he wants
the tenure. He wants the tenure.
But I mean, it's going to be very interesting just to see what happens. 6 years, or you want to take a 10-year, 300, whoever, which is Philly, that's going to possibly give him that. But I don't know. What do you think, Oscar? Would Bryce Harper, if with or without, make a difference on the Dodger squad?
Well, I feel we have to land Harper because, like Luop brought up earlier in the off season, that we traded away, we got rid of Puig, and so now
not just Puig.
Yeah,
not just Puig. Who else do you guys get rid of?
We didn't get rid of much.
We got rid of Kemp, who was an all-star last year for y'all.
Puig and Kim, that's it. But we made up with AJ Pollock, who's another all-star, who's another better, younger guy, and that's why they're still that spot for Mr. Bryce Harper. So we'll go ahead and really see what happens with that situation. But when we come back, we have a new introduction with Luop, Oscar, and Big Al. We'll be talking a little bit about the European Soccer League. I know there's some
Champions League.
Football. Some football coming for you guys here on Sports Collective TV. Don't forget, call us in 323-293-3375. Morris Media. We'll be right back.
Friday, March 8th, the event of the spring. Old School Spring Jam Concert. Live from Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. Performances by Ready for the World.
Let me love you down. Even if it takes all night. Let me love you down.
Tone Low.
MC of the future, say about the life, give it to the teacher, the author, the writer, and the editor.
Coolio. Miss Shelley. And Candyman.
Attention, all ladies. The Candyman is on the prowl. And for those that want to get busy, you got to speak up now.
For tickets and information, visit us at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out. Old School Spring Jam Concert, March 8th. AskIlya.com. Media marketing experts here to help you grow your business into the next level and boost your sales. Visit us to learn more. AskIlya.com.
Back. Welcome back to Sports Collective TV, live here at Morris Media, Crenshaw District.
Sponsored by
AskIlya.com. Go ask a question right now.
Ask Ilya.
Hey.
Go ask Ilya.
But we're going to, we'll keep it moving with the sport that I'm very excited to talk about. It is football. The football that you play with your foot. Yes. Champions League, the best soccer tournament in the world, and we are in the round of 16,
That's
the playoffs basically.
That's the
and
playoffs.
We have some good game days,
some surprising games as well.
Yeah, so we're going to go into those a little bit. Last week we had Lyon from France tying Barcelona at home.
Huge for Lyon, by the way, because I mean, a team like Barcelona, you can't you can't expect to go and get a huge victory 2-0, 3-0 at Camp Nou. So all they need now is that 1-0 win. They just need a win.
If Lyon can squeeze one in away,
and then they can topple Barcelona.
And we talked about this before, how sometimes a tie is a win. This is a perfect example.
This was a win for Lyon.
This was a win for Lyon.
And it was a loss for Barcelona.
It was a huge loss.
Now that fan base is going to expect, in order for them, they got to bounce back and score one at the beginning, and then 2-3-0, 4-0. Like something like that. They cannot allow Lyon to get them into like some muggy game where it's just defensive and it's counterattack and it's like wait to see who comes and scores a goal because that could be Lyon. And then before you know it, Barcelona's out of the champions.
And you already know how Lyon's going to come out. They're going to park the bus and just look at that counter.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
You allow them to set that way because if you score at least one goal,
then Lyon has to at least open up in the next game. But
exactly.
Absolutely. Man, it's just that's why Champions League is so great to watch because you have the Spanish style versus the French style and it just mixes weird. So sometimes you have these upsets and boy, what a crazy game that was. But we had another game that maybe we were a little bit disappointed to some degree. That was Liverpool tying with Bayern at home. Disappointed to some degree.
At least scorelessness, yeah. Right. But, you know, like, again, a game like this, no team kind of wants to give an inch. So it's like they kind of both conceded the fact that, all right, you know what? It's going to be a tie. We'll both just save it for the next game. You know, none of us really want to risk anything right now, so we'll both just save it for the next game.
So next game at Allianz, tied. Do you think Bayern kind of has the upper hand?
Yeah. I mean, they have the upper hand being at home, yeah. But Liverpool again is a team that beat a lot of teams on the road last year to get to the Champions League final.
That's right.
So it's not like they're just going to bend over and just.
Or you could actually say maybe Liverpool has the advantage because if they score one goal, they do have
the away goal. Exactly. At that point, they didn't allow an away goal, which is the same thing that Lyon did. Right. Lyon didn't allow an away goal, so now if they score one away goal, Barcelona now has to score two. They can't tie. Barcelona can't tie them. Liverpool can't be tied either by Bayern if they score the away goal.
And so Wednesday, we actually had some surprises.
A little bit of an upset. Atletico Madrid beating Juventus at home.
I didn't call it 2-0. I called 2-0. Yeah, 2-0 though. Yeah,
decisive.
And Cristiano Ronaldo joining Juventus this summer and being the new member of the squad. Juve having some high hopes here, but looking at a first round exit here.
He kind of had a little bit to play in the second goal too. It was like 84th minute on a corner kick. One of the defenders deflects it. It bounces off Cristiano Ronaldo slightly and it goes into the goal. So like he was right there and he saw that 2-0 goal and it's like you could see it on his face. It's like he instantly knew.
It's crazy.
Like, man, now we got to go back home and beat this team who plays defensive style. We got to score 2 goals on them. When they're just going to be locked behind this wall for 90 minutes.
And that's their style. That's
perfectly their style.
That's what
they don't
love
mind
to
going
play.
on the road and facing against all the crowd and everything. They don't care about all that.
That's right. Then for the last game, we also have Schalke 04 playing a pretty good game at home, losing tightly to Manchester City.
Almost an upset.
2-3.
Almost another upset. 2-1. With in the 82nd minute, Manchester City ties it 2-2. In the 87th minute, they go up 3-2. So Schalke was this close from getting that upset.
But once again, look good in the second round. Potentially, they have a chance for an upset.
But like you said, the last 10 minutes, you just saw Man City kick it up to another level. You know, and once again, these great teams, you might hold them down for a certain amount of time, but eventually, once they start getting loose, once they start getting that pace, it's hard to stop them.
It's hard to stop them at that point.
Man. And it's a pleasure talking Champions League here on Sports Collective TV with you guys.
Sure.
We're going to go into a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the full deck for the final segment of the show. So make sure you stay tuned. Give a call, 323-293-3375.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your health care. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
Friday, March 8th, the event of the spring. Old School Spring Jam Concert. Live from Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. Performances by Ready for the World.
Let me love you down. And if it takes all night, let me love you down.
Tone Low.
Tone Low. MC of the future, say about life, give a cheek to suture, the author, the writer, and the editor.
Coolio. Miss Shelley. And Candyman.
Attention, all ladies. The Candyman is on the prowl. And for those that want to get busy, you got to speak up now.
For tickets and information, visit us at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out. Old School Spring Jam Concert, March 8th.
That's right, the Old School Spring Jam on March 8th. Make sure you go check that out at the Redondo Beach Performing Arts Center. We've had a pretty good show so far. I've enjoyed talking Champions League, all the sports. But now I want to roll it into the NBA alert. I think you guys are familiar with that.
With some energy, Big Al.
Throwback. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on. We had a coffee.
Hey, this one
earlier.
kind of
Gotta take a
we
back.
got some.
If you don't remember how this is played, ring the alarm if you heavily oppose someone's answer with the better one. These will all be NBA questions, guys. So I'm not going to waste any time moving straight into this.
Let's go.
James Harden has been having a perfect season. 30 game stretch where he got 30 plus points. Do you think he will win the MVP, or is there somebody else who's going to take that from him?
The Greek Freak. That's it.
Giannis this year?
Yeah,
Giannis.
James Harden.
I have to ring the bell, man.
If he didn't win, if James Harden didn't win this last year, I think he would have won it this year. But because he won it last year,
right now?
Who, Harden?
Yeah.
No. He just took a night out.
He took a little bit of a break.
Hey, I missed a few hours.
He's second to Wilt in 30-plus game streaks.
That's impressive, but not good enough for.
Yeah. You got to remember the NBA. We've had Kobe have these like great scoring stretches.
Yeah,
you know.
50
who did
pointers.
they end up giving it to? You know,
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash.
Okay.
Steve Nash. Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash.
I like that. NWO.
I told you I was better over there.
But also Giannis is as much of an impact on the offensive side as defensive side. So once again, he does it all for Milwaukee. And I feel like if you take Giannis out of that team, they slide to like the bottom of the East. And not to knock, you saw how Rockets played on Saturday with Chris Paul playing at his best. You got Kenneth Faried hitting threes now. Hitting threes.
But your boy Chris Paul was taking him to the rack, man.
He's playing.
That's how he plays when he's healthy.
He's fresh. He's fresh.
He plays good. Fresh legs.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
All-star
break. The glass.
What he needs, like to take 20 games off during the season.
Do like Shaq used to do.
All right, moving on.
Shaq used to take practices off.
My big toe.
We have a local team here who's looking to make the playoffs here. The Lakers being 3 games behind in the 10th seed. And this is the hard question here. But
are we playing in the East?
Are the Lakers going to make the playoffs this year?
No.
If the Lakers make the playoffs this year in the situation they in, I think I would have to get a LeBron jersey. Because
I'm taking that.
That's now giving
it's 3
all
games.
credit to. Yeah, but he can flunk out in the fourth quarter. We've seen that.
Yeah,
so
true.
I'm just saying, 3 games is a lot, especially at this height of the season. And you got to remember the opposing team's trying to put you out.
Right.
Yeah, but one situation on that too, the other teams right above them are teams who are possibly, have been kind of overachieving in the first part of the season. With the Clippers now, they sold out their complete roster, so now they're kind of going to start coming down. And as well with the Sacramento Kings. You would hope, but I mean, they already lost. Like they're 1-3 out of their last 4 games.
They're probably going to drop out.
Trading off their team. So I mean, they've technically haven't even won.
The Kings are also
the Kings are also right there, right in the conversation as well. But they also lost their last 2 games as well. But I mean, these teams here.
Are we going to talk about the Lakers losing to the Pelicans?
Yeah,
I mean, the Clippers are 1-3, but it's telling that the Lakers lost.
He didn't even play
to the Pelicans without Anthony Davis. The guy who LeBron was willing to risk it all for.
Wasn't even there,
and they still lost.
And also, like, I'm a huge Laker fan, but the 3 teams you just named all work way harder consistently every game. San Antonio, Clippers, Sacramento, and that's our biggest problem this year is we just don't show up consistently. How do you play the way you play against the Rockets and then come out and play the way you do against New Orleans?
You won't get tired of dashing
by this point of the year.
Clippers suck.
But hold on, real quick.
They play as a team and they play motivated every single
If you can't self-motivate yourself,
they had a better season theoretically this year than the
Clippers are not going to be where they're at right now. They just all those wins, all those 33 wins they have right now, 32 of those wins was with Tobias Harris, was with the other type of players they had. So you count only 1 win after they made this trade about 3 weeks ago by now.
Some adjustments.
But that's what's going to happen. They're taking a back seat in the season. They're taking a back seat.
So are your Lakers. So
they're not taking a back seat. It looks like it. But they're not taking a back seat
without Anthony Davis.
They did beat the Celtics and the Houston Rockets the day before. They beat the Rockets the day before with Harden and CP3. So what about that one?
All right, moving on. There's plenty of storylines going into the free agent market this summer. All sorts of speculations, guys trying to play with each other. So I'm trying to ask you guys, with Steve Ballmer saying what he said on TNT, which team do you guys think will make the biggest splash in the free agent market this offseason? Is it the Clippers? Is it the Lakers?
The dark horse?
Is it Miami?
You mean just like which team goes out there and spends the most money?
Is it the Knicks? Which team is going to have the most successful offseason in terms of signing free agents?
Oh, the Knicks, I think.
The Knicks?
I think the Knicks get Durant and Kyrie.
Okay.
And they get Zion. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
See, I'm going to have to ring the one
Knicks
on that because the Knicks front office
the Knicks are
is
have
garbage.
A bunch of money. They have a bunch of money. They traded away Porzingis to have more cap space.
That's true.
And the whole appeal is bringing KD, bringing Kyrie, and then you have Zion, who we know the NBA is willing to. They want New York to succeed. They want New York to have a legitimate basketball team. That would just push the ratings up.
I'm gonna stay in New York.
I mean, the NBA wants that. I'm gonna say absolutely. The NBA would love that.
I think we all know that New York's going to get the number 1 pick.
I'm gonna stay in New York, but I'm actually go with the surpriser team.
Well, the
Brooklyn.
Suns are
Brooklyn, because Brooklyn has 2 max slots, and if you look at that team and the depth and talent they have, add 2 superstars to that. They are a championship caliber team.
And that's an underrated market.
That's my partner because we've been thinking about the same thing. And the greatest thing about that story is that they had these franchise players when that league was at its height and had a really great coach. So they had to go through all that new coaching. And I'm looking at Brooklyn as being like the bigger upset in regards to the matches. And then be able to come and bring something from the East other than Philadelphia and the Celtics.
Absolutely. They would love that. I'm kind of drinking Steve Ballmer's Kool-Aid a little bit, saying that because a lot of players are coming out saying they don't want to play with LeBron and all that stuff, but people still want to live in LA.
When you drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
You know what happened?
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Cali Sportsman. All right.
I want to come with a different analogy.
I want to bring this last question in before we close out the show. In one sentence, if you could keep it short, what do you guys think will be the storyline of this NBA season?
At the end of the year?
At the end of the year.
1 sentence.
Y'all want an example or?
Go for it.
You want to go for it?
And Boston wins!
No. LeBron can't get it done in the West. Potentially.
Well, I guess mine will possibly have to be the complete opposite. I think, like Ilya said, he's probably going to buy in after if he gets him over him, he's going to be able to get him in. So
the sentences.
So what's the
sentence? I said it. No, the opposite of you. That's practically it. But
so LeBron gets it done.
Yeah, LeBron gets it done.
Okay. So
Russell Westbrook finally got the co-star he needed.
Ooh, that's a good one.
No.
I've seen this movie before. Warriors win again.
And I want to thank you guys for AskIlya.com today on Morris Media Studios.
Absolutely.
But you know where I'm from. Town business, another W for the town. Let's go.
We've seen this movie again. It's the same thing. We've seen this movie again. The Warriors win it.
The Warriors.
Another one?
KD.
The year of Giannis.
You think so?
I think Giannis is going to make it to the finals, I believe.
He's burning incense. Burning incense.
You sipping Kool-Aid still.
Too much sugar.
Potentially. Hey, we don't have Kool-Aid in Switzerland, so I'm definitely enjoying that out here.
Chocolate.
But Lewis.
Yes, from all of us here at Morris Media Studios. Sponsored by AskIlya.com. Of course, go ask a question.
Go ask.
All of us here, we out.